Hello everyone, welcome to Meet the Member. Today I'd like to introduce you all to Jo Howard, who is an executive search consultant at Mosaic Executive Search. Jo, I would love it if you could sum up in one sentence what it is that you do.
Okay, great. Thanks, Laura. I'll have a go. So I do senior level recruitment in publishing. And what that means is I work usually with CEOs or sometimes the chair to help them find their sort of key talent for their senior team. So that might mean it could be I'll be looking for a managing director, publishing director, marketing director, sales director. It could be anything, usually has director in the title. And it could be any senior role in publishing, and it could be any type of publishing. So that might be, I personally do a lot in trade and consumer, but it could also be academic, educational, and even the sort of ed tech, information science. I've got colleagues who do a lot in that sort of what I think of as the pointy head end of publishing. Yeah,
Really, the whole.
And I'm also a qualified coach, so I also do some executive and leadership coaching, but a lot of career coaching as well. So, whether somebody is thinking, oh, I'm a bit stuck and I don't know what to do next, it can be that sort of deep dive into what you might want to do, through to the practical end of how to do a good CV and interview coaching, things like that. So a bit of a sort of portfolio around people and careers, pretty much mainly in publishing, a little bit outside as well.
Fascinating, thank you. And how did you get into that line of work?
Well, I started out working in a bookshop. I was brought up in a house full of books, and I always thought, I really want to work with books. Didn't really know what that meant. So I started out in a bookshop. And then I was so enthusiastic and sort of excited about, building a career. And I ended up on the board of Waterstones when I was 29, which was, a wonderful moment. And then I went to Smith's, I ran books there. And then I did lots of different senior roles at Smith's, including I did strategy and business planning for a while. Major imposter syndrome at that point. So I did an MBA because I thought, God, you can't do strategy without an MBA. And when I did that, I got really interested in leadership, because strategy is meaningless unless, leaders really live what they're espousing. And then I left Smith's about 17 years ago now, and retrained in leadership development and coaching. But my main networks were sort of publishing and retailing. And I found it hard I wanted to stay in the book world, but I found it hard at that time to get companies engaged in the idea of leadership development and coaching. And I ended up just sort of falling into doing headhunting with a company called Meridian. And then I joined Mosaic 3 years later. So doing this now about, 13, 14 years. And it just brought together, I'm so interested in the business of publishing. I love the whole book world. I love the people. I'm really interested in people and people development. So it just sort of brought it all together, really.
It does sound, from everything you've said, like it really, all the different parts came together, and this really suits where your skills. And why did you join BookMachine then? And who would you like to meet in our community?
Oh, well, yes, I was very excited when BookMachine started, because I'm really interested in anything that is, helping people with sort of training, networking, any kind of career development, because, very obvious thing to say, but we all spend so much time at work. And I get really inspired when I meet people who are really in the right job, their work is all about who they are. I find that so inspiring. And I think there are lots of people like that in publishing. It's quite vocational. And so BookMachine, I thought, oh yeah, fantastic. You're doing training and events. So to begin with, I was interested in attending the events and meeting people. Obviously, it's great networking. And I just love all the training you're doing. And I need to stay abreast of what's happening in publishing, because when I'm working on particular assignments, I might deep dive into a particular aspect of publishing. But I need to keep abreast of what's going on. I need to keep my network going, because all the people I grew up with, they're running companies, or they've even retired. So I need to keep keep meeting new talent and people that are sort of up and coming leaders of the future. So just any opportunity to network and meet people, that's what I get my energy from.
Perfect. And before we head off, what are you working on right now, and what's exciting you about it?
Yeah, well, I've got some. So at the beginning of lockdown, a lot of my work just sort of dried up. Some kept going, but now it's all coming back. So I've got some really interesting assignments. We tend to do sort of quality rather than quantity. So each one is a sort of headhunting, almost like consulting project, really. So I've got one in education publishing. It's a new strategic development for a global publisher. So that's a really exciting role because it's all new and great opportunity for someone. I've got a very senior publisher in commercial fiction and non-fiction, so that's exciting. Interestingly, I'm also working on a commissioning editor in non-fiction. Don't normally work at that level, but this is a strategically critical role. So if you've got any board members keen to do a commissioning editor in non-fiction, definitely get in touch. Well, I think, you know, that all of these roles are strategically important to the company. So I love working closely with different companies in terms of where they're going strategically, what they need, and helping them find just the right person to help them make that development. And then just meeting people, working with different candidates. And I always hope that our candidates, even if they don't get the job, that they feel it was a really good experience and that they've learned something from it.
So the process, so yeah.
So all a connection with people, that's what gives me the energy.
Amazing. Thank you so much for explaining all of that. It's really interesting, and hope that we'll see you at an event soon as well.
Yes. Thank you, Laura.
We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.